Coming up on West Side Stories, how one Grand Rapids company is working towards eliminating the spread of diseases.
Plus, following the resignation of a GVSU football coach, we sit down with the journalist who broke the controversial story.
And the story of an unlikely partnership that has led to a flourishing food business. Those stories and more next on West Side Stories.
West Side Stories is produced by students from the Multimedia Journalism program at Grand Valley State University. Support also comes from the School of Communications, inspiring thought, perfecting practice.
Welcome to West Side Stories. I'm Preston Donikoski.
And I'm Anna Olszewski.
Grand Valley State University's student-run newspaper has been making national news lately. You may recall the paper published a controversial interview with football coach Morris Berger. Berger resigned as a result of comments he made about Adolf Hitler.
The story caught the attention of the Washington Post, ESPN, and other national news outlets. So it's been a hectic couple of weeks for the Lanthorn newspaper staff. Our own Leah Kerr checked in with Editor-in-Chief Nick Moran to find out how he and his writers are holding up.
At the end of the day, their job is to have a university that looks good on paper and in the news, and our job is to report the truth.
Grand Valley's new offensive coordinator said he would like to have dinner with Hitler during an interview with Kellen Voss. Editor-in-Chief Nick Moran says that the public deserved to know.
If it wasn't for journalistic integrity, we would have been essentially a PR branch for the athletic department.
Initially, the section of the interview that discussed Hitler was asked to be taken down by GVSU's athletic department. Moran made the executive decision to publish the interview in its entirety.
If they had asked us to take it down and we didn't follow those guidelines and we had kept it down, it would have been the image that they wanted, which was a half-true, dishonest image.
The Lanthorn received national attention because of the offensive coordinator's remarks. Readers chimed in, some supporting the GVSU coach. Still, the Lanthorn's faculty advisor Eric Harvey believes republishing the full story was the right decision.
We are putting out factual information that we had on recording, that we verified, that was offered to us. It was not, there was no controversy about the factual basis of this information. And so our bar as like heroes in this regard is very low. Like we are literally just doing our job.
Harvey says that the interview was meant to be harmless, but students got to deal with being the subject in other news outlets' stories.
And the fact that these students got to deal with this like in school is just, I mean, it's like, you know, you can't plan for it, you don't hope for it, but at the same time, the fact that they were able to do it was just, I mean, it's an incomparable experience.
Staff at the Lanthorn are continuing with their normal routines. We visited the newspaper's office during one of their production days.
We all come to the office on Sunday with stories and photos in hand and work with our design team to make the actual print product that everyone sees on Monday.
Layout designer Koi Tren explains his process of designing pages for the newspaper.
This is a spread, so when you do the spread, you can see the composition for the whole length of 2 pages. There needs to be a balance between text and photos.
While the design team works on the visual appearance of the paper, sports editor Kellen Voss fine-tunes stories that will be published.
And I'll make sure that the grammar and everything's good. I'll make sure everything's formatted correctly. I usually have the GVSU Laker page right next to me just so I can double check statistics.
Lawrence Beery took over the Lanthorn in 1993 and the newspaper has progressed rapidly. There are around 50 students employed at the paper, all paid for their work.
The Lanthorn's entirely student-run. If you look around the office, you'll see desks for advertising managers and salespeople who help, raise funds for the newspaper. Our business team gets the payroll done and distributes newspapers. All student-run. The editorial team is all done by us. So we have 2 advisors, but they're pretty hands-off for the most part.
The Lanthorn has received attention from other student media programs on campus. President of GVTV Kyle Matchame applauds the newspaper on their truthful journalism.
I think it's valuable to have a student voice be heard and not be censored or regulated in a way by an administration whose goals are inherently going to be different than the students in terms of the messaging that we want to promote. And this was a situation where the reporters and the team at the Lanthorn did absolutely nothing wrong and held perfectly professional standards because it was just a transcript.
Support from the GVSU community has helped Lanthorn staff feel confident in their decision. Harvey says that he offered advice, but the students did a great job of handling the situation.
You know, I kind of helped brief Nick and Kellen on sort of how to deal with this like onrush of media attention and gave them some tips and told them what to do and what not to do. But other than that, I mean, they were really poised and ready to deal with it, and I think they dealt with it really well.
To find the original interview as well as follow-up stories, visit the Lanthorn's website at www.lanthorn.com. In Allendale, I'm Leah Kerr.
Nick Moran and the Lanthorn staff continue to follow the Morris Berger story. The paper recently reported that Berger received about $90,000 from GVSU as a part of his resignation settlement. GVSU President Philomena Mantella says GVSU will work toward a healthier campus climate by increasing education about the Holocaust and Native American history.
According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, there are so far 13 confirmed cases of the coronavirus in the U.S. To make matters worse, new data from the CDC indicates that this flu season may be the worst in years. All this has healthcare workers searching for ways to prevent the spread of these deadly epidemics. Coming up next, Sean DeWard reports on one Grand Rapids company that may have found an answer.
At first glance, it looks like a bunch of fluorescent lights put together. But this 4-foot machine does way more than just light up a room.
When a unit turns on, these louvers will actually rotate.
It's called the IPT 3200. It uses a special ultraviolet ray, or UV ray, to destroy a harmful microorganism's DNA. We had to shoot video of it outside of the room through a window to avoid damage to our own DNA. Larry Perez at Skytron is the expert.
We're all composed of DNA, and you can't be in the room because it's radiation, right? So it would be a very, very adverse outcome.
Thankfully, the IPT has special locks that can be set on doors. If we try to enter the room, the machine would immediately shut off. Skytron's machine has been on the market, being supplied to hospitals for over 10 years. But lately, they've been expanding its applications to other things like jails and schools. They've even done some testing at GVSU.
We saw, in most cases, it was a 98-99% kill rate on the colonies of bacteria that were on these surfaces.
Holland Public Schools closed twice so far from the recent flu outbreak. Since they and other schools follow guidelines by the Ottawa County Health Department, they're cautious about the new tech.
So our understanding from the Ottawa County Health Department, and we're going to follow their recommendations. Their recommendations were to have cleaning crews clean the hard surfaces, the doorknobs, obviously the bathrooms where that virus tends to be.
The health department recommends a mix of bleach and water for killing most viruses.
The best solution that we have to offer or have guidance from the CDC is the bleach and water solution. Again, that will kill not only flu virus but also norovirus. As far as any light technology, I'd have to look into that. I don't see any of that yet in the research.
However, studies at Skytron show that all-around disinfectants don't always kill all the germs.
One of the things that makes organisms, microorganisms, difficult to neutralize is that they're very resilient. They adapt to the environment, they adapt to chemicals, and that's how you end up with superbugs. So the unique thing about ultraviolet is ultraviolet doesn't provide that opportunity.
The Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, that's on the federal level, tells the Ottawa County Health Department what to tell schools. Now, the CDC doesn't know very much about Skytron's tech, so it's uncertain how much of it will actually be in place at schools at the moment. In Ottawa County, I'm Sean DeWard.
If you're worried about getting sick, the CDC has some simple advice for you. Wash your hands often, avoid close contact with sick people, and don't touch your face with unwashed hands. If
you love classic movies, then you're probably familiar with the works of director John Hughes. Hughes wrote and directed several 80s classics, such as The Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and Pretty in Pink. One of these famous films was recently brought back to the big screen. 16 Candles was shown at the Wealthy Theater in Grand Rapids. And making a special appearance, one of the movie's original stars, Anthony Michael Hall. Here is reporter Katie Myers with more on the story.
16 Candles, epic movie.
We're here tonight at Wealthy Theater, where actor Anthony Michael Hall is following the screening of 16 Candles with a live Q&A.
Anthony Michael Hall is an 80s icon, and some of Grand Rapids residents were thrilled to hear he was coming to town. His appearance in Grand Rapids was part of a tour celebrating the John Hughes classic movie, 16 Candles.
Without further ado, 16 Candles, the first film.
It's actually one of my favorite movies of all time, so I brought my Trapper Keeper with, and actually one of the main characters, Jake Ryan's the one we named our first dog after, so it's got a lot of sentimental value.
The showing of the film was not the only thing to generate excitement for the fans.
Well, Anthony Michael Hall's going to be here, and so that's going to be kind of fun because just to get him and give his take on everything and answer questions and stuff, I think is pretty cool.
Immediately following the showing of the movie, Hall had a Q&A with the moviegoers.
But what I'm curious about is 16 Candles, but what was her birthday?
Audience members were able to ask Hall about the making of his hit movies like 16 Candles. They were also able to dig a little deeper, uncovering just how Hall felt about his close relationship with director John Hughes.
So there really were so many, but the thing that was great about John is he would let us, make things up. And honestly, I ad-libbed a lot of these things. We can go through the scenes, but there's so many. And again, it's just a testament to what a great director he was. He was so cool. He was never uptight about things, and we could always ad-lib. So thank you for that, sir.
All right. Hall said that it was during the filming of movies like 16 Candles that he was able to build his close relationship with director John Hughes. Hughes allowed him and other members of the cast to play their part in their own way and helped them to strengthen their acting skills.
I just hope people get what he's trying to do. And again, like I said, this is all in honor of John Hughes. It was like a big brother to him. John Hughes was a big brother to Anthony, so I just think he wants to honor him, and if you respect that, John Hughes is, in my opinion, one of the greatest directors of all time, and he never won an Academy Award.
Hall and his team say the late John Hughes was a genius, and they all want the legacy of John Hughes to live on, especially for young people.
Working on 16 Candles was really fun. He really just kind of cut me loose, and I just looked up to him like a big brother. I loved him. He was such a great writer. As I said in the show, I hung out with his wife and his kids all the time. I was like their other son. They had 2 sons. So just the experience of him becoming my best friend. He was like a big brother that had the party paid for and had taken care of this whole thing. And he just, the way he empowered me, he did for all of us. He was just so open-hearted. And so he allowed us to be creative beyond even what the script was. So he was really great, And all these years later, here I am at 51. I've worked with a lot of people, and I've never had such a great relationship,
Hall and his team closed out the night by one-on-one time with some of the guests for photos and autographs. While this tour has ended, look out for Hall on the television screen in ABC's The Goldbergs. For other Wealthy Theater events, visit grcmc.org/theater.
In Grand Rapids, Katie Myers.
If you are interested in seeing other classic movies, Wealthy Theater will be hosting movie events throughout the remainder of February through their Meanwhile movie series.
According to Experience GR, there are 30 active food trucks licensed to operate in the Grand Rapids area. Next up, reporter Michelle Ruiz brings us a story on one food truck that has found an unlikely partner, Trail Point Brewery.
The truck culture has really exploded in Grand Rapids, and we have a lot of great culinary artists, if you will, or craft food, and it kind of complements our beer.
That was Jeff Knobloch of Trail Point Brewery. Knobloch says that Trail Point's partnerships with local food trucks is great for his customers, and local Grand Rapids food truck owners agree. Owners such as Grilled Greek, Slow's Barbecue, and Patty Matters. Grand Rapids is known for being beer city, but its neighboring town, Allendale, had no brewery until 2015. Co-owner of Trail Point Brewery, Jeff Knobloch, saw this as an opportunity for business.
We've got a lot of great people that are moving here. It's still one of the fastest growing townships in the state, so it kind of just made sense.
Rock D'Antonu, president of the Grand Rapids Food Truck Association, says food trucks increase activity for public spaces, promote small businesses, and add value to the people visiting the Grand Rapids area. Knobloch says Trail Point doesn't just focus on beer. He says the brewery organizes community fundraisers and other events to keep the local people interested. A big part of that is including the food truck culture that has been growing in the last few years.
It's not about coming out and just having a pint, but it's more of coming out and having a pint and enjoying the experience.
All of Trail Point's products are crafted in Allendale, and Knobloch says that they take pride in their products and that their main goal is to cater to the customer.
We kind of really let our fans do the judging on that and what they like, and it's not really always what we like. It's kind of what they like.
Trail Point crafts everything from IPAs to ciders and stouts. Knobloch says that they try to have a wide range to fit everybody's needs.
We really kind of want to give something for everybody and have a little bit of variation.
As for food, they allow the guests to bring in their own food, but they accommodate with some alternative options.
We are food friendly. We also have food trucks 5 days a week, starting on Tuesday through Saturday. We've had people walking with picnic baskets, Happy Meals, pizzas, and crock pots even. Or if you just want to bring some snacks. We sell a few snacks ourselves to complement somebody who doesn't bring who hasn't brought anything with them. So we try to give people options as best we can.
In recent years, food trucks have gained a lot of popularity, especially in the Grand Rapids area. Local food truck owner and vice president of the Grand Rapids Food Truck Association, Lauren D'Angelo, talks about what appeals to her about the food truck industry.
Food trucks get to go to where people are. So we get to go and travel around West Michigan and set up at different locations, and we get to go to different festivals and events, and it's a lot more fun than sitting in a kitchen in the back of a building.
D'Angelo says that the food truck business allows her to move her restaurant on wheels from place to place.
We set up at 10 to 12 different locations a week. You name it, we've probably been there.
The mobile world of food trucks lends itself to meeting different customers. D'Angelo says the things that they see and the people they meet is one of her favorite things about the truck.
We've been to events where people are barely dressed, and we've been to events where people have wild, crazy costumes, and Halloween happens more than once a year, so it makes it interesting.
D'Angelo has 15 plus years in the food business, and that is what drove her to start her own business.
Like every chef, I wanted a restaurant. And startup costs for a restaurant is pretty expensive. The startup costs for a food truck are at a third or less than it would to actually start up a restaurant.
D'Angelo wanted to bring something that wasn't already being done to the food trucks in the area. Her truck, Patty Matters, features burgers.
Up to this moment, there still isn't another burger food truck in West Michigan. We're the closest within a 2-hour radius.
Although food trucks move around a lot, D'Angelo says that they have created a solid fan base, as can be seen through social media.
There are people that follow us around and come to specific spots just because we're there. So, I mean, it's interesting.
In Allendale, I'm Michelle Ruiz.
To try a Patty Matters burger with a craft beer, you can check out Trail Point Brewery on Wednesdays or Fridays from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m.
What does winter beer and the kids' food basket have in common? The 4th annual Perrin Ice Jam Festival, of course. A couple of weeks ago, I headed downtown to see what this popular winter festival is all about. It's the kind of charity fundraiser you don't expect to see in Comstock Park. At least, not outside in winter. And people even ran a 5K. Apparently, when Perrin Brewing Company says they'll be serving beer at the end of the race, people come running.
I love that it's actually a winter festival, which some people think is a little crazy, but I think at this point we all get kind of a little stir crazy in the middle of winter, so it's really a chance to get out of the house, get together with friends and family.
For the last 4 years, Perrin Brewing Company has put on this fundraiser to raise money for charity. This year, they've really cooked up a good event.
Proceeds from the event are going back to Kids Food Basket, so it's a really good feel-good event and you're doing really awesome things for the community.
This year, doing something awesome for the community came cheap. Only $10 or a food donation got you in the door.
We're grateful to have Perrin as one of our partners. They've been long-term supporters of us, the organization, the kids that we serve, and we're just really proud of the many ways that people can partner with us, and Ice Jam is just one example of all the different ways people can engage with Kids Food Basket.
1 in 5 kids is affected by hunger in West Michigan. Kids Food Basket is the largest organization in Michigan dedicated to attacking childhood hunger. They currently provide sack suppers to nearly 8,000 kids every weekday so kids can thrive in and outside of school. It will take the support of many community members to end childhood hunger.
Just a great event. I didn't expect it. I didn't know what to expect, so it was great to see so many people out here.
And of course, a motivator to finish the race was a beer waiting at the end.
We had all a beer at the beer tent afterwards, and hung out, met some people, and hung out with friends.
Guests huddled in the beer tent, and those of age tried out the new beer released at the event.
So today we're actually releasing one of our first side hustle series here at Perrin. It's a carrot cake cream ale, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's basically a nice carrot cake, piece of cake right inside that beer glass. And the beer was actually brewed with 6 full sheet cakes of carrot cake donated from Arnie's Bakery. So it's got that beautiful pineapple, carrot, with that cream cheese frosting flavors to it. It's really, really good. From Grand Rapids, Michigan, I'm Anna Olszewski.
To find out how you can get involved in Kids Food Basket, visit their website.
Grand Valley State University's new president, Philomena Mantella, is keeping an annual tradition alive. The President's Ball was packed to the gills this year. Autumn Babis has more on how Mantella is putting her touch on a Laker tradition.
Last winter, temperatures hit record lows with wind chills reaching 50 below zero. This shut Grand Valley State University down for a week. It also canceled the famous President's Ball, leaving thousands of students heartbroken.
I was named president of Grand Valley just before the President Ball got canceled, and so I was really excited to see all the clips and watch it and understand it, and I know how disappointing that was to everybody.
Since the letdown of last year, when planning for this year's President's Ball, Mantella made sure everything went smoothly. Students lined up at the DeVos Place in downtown Grand Rapids. President Mantella worked closely with the Campus Activities Board and Student Senate to plan this ball.
She's really, really excited to be able to get out there and meet a lot of students. It's probably one of the biggest, aside from her investiture, inauguration sort of events, biggest social event she's been able to go to. So she's really excited to get to talk to everybody and sort of get a feel for this tradition. The President's Ball is an opportunity to celebrate Grand Valley with a mix of faculty, staff, and students. It's a ball, obviously. It's a dinner and a dance, and it's just a really big celebration of Grand Valley and our community as a whole.
Students had the opportunity to purchase dinner with their ticket for $40 or just a dance ticket for $20. The night began with a cocktail social hour at 5:30 and then dinner at 6.
You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words,
President Mantella was very excited to experience her first ball. About 500 people attended the dinner and 4,000 attended the dance. There was not much variation in attendance from this year to prior years.
This is just a time to enjoy each other and, as you said, celebrate. And so many people, and in our time that is so pressured, sometimes we forget to do that, to celebrate. The President Ball is a very successful event, and it's become a signature of Grand Valley. So we don't want to depart too far from that history and legacy.
During the dinner was live entertainment. Groove, an a cappella group, performed.
when you need a friend to carry you, when you're broken on.
There was also an award ceremony recognizing the Laker of the Year and Student Award for Faculty Excellence.
Thank you guys so much for everyone who has helped me along the way. Grand Valley is such a great community, so thank you all.
Instead of giving a speech on her own, President Mantella included both presidents of the Campus Activities Board and Student Senate.
So let me join Trey in welcoming you to Grand Valley State University's President's Ball. It's a tradition at this university that makes it quite unique.
After the dinner, a dance followed at 8:30 in the ballroom. Students celebrated Grand Valley, the president, and dressed up with friends while dancing the night away to music featuring DJ B Wiz.
Every day I'm shuffling.
There's a dance portion at the end, which is sort of like a big college prom, is the way we describe it to people. We have a DJ, there's a lot of dancing, a lot of fun.
There was also several other events going on during the ball for students to enjoy. There was a candy table with several treats for students to choose from and a coffee bar featuring smoothies. Free buses took students from the Kirchhoff Center in Allendale to the President's Ball downtown. President Mantella says she wants to continue building up Grand Valley and encouraging the students. She says she enjoys the strong community and plans to keep it that way.
In Grand Rapids, I'm Autumn Bathis.
Mantella says she plans to keep celebrating the President's Ball for years to come. And that's all the time we have for today. I'm Preston Donikoski.
And I'm Anna Olszewski. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
West Side Stories is produced by students from the Multimedia Journalism program at Grand Valley State University. Support also comes from the School of Communications. Inspiring thought, perfecting practice.